Good day to everybody that's watching right now. I would first like to start this off by saying we'll be doing a documentary, me and my friends Victory and Ted, and this will be about how gender norms affect toxic masculinity and how it ties together. So I'll first be starting off by saying the actual definition of gender norms, which is that gender norms it's known as a sex role, social role, encompassing a range of behaviors and attitudes that are generally considered acceptable, appropriate, or desirable for a person based on that person's biological or perceived sex. So, I would like to start it off by passing it to anybody and saying, what are y'all like per se definition of gender norms?
When I think of gender norms, what I think about is a certain set of standards that each gender needs to follow.
When I think of gender norms, I think about like the characteristics and traits that are attached to each gender. Like for example, a female is supposed to stay in the kitchen and care and cook and all that stuff, and the boy is supposed to be outside playing sports and equally like athletic things.
Okay, I agree with both Ted and Victory about that. I'd like to add on that it also ties into how society thinks or perceives people to act an appropriate way based on their gender. And I'd like to go on by giving out the definition for toxic masculinity. So when we think of toxic masculinity, that definition is it involves cultural pressures for men to behave in a certain way, or it also refers to the notion that some people's idea of manliness perpetrates domination, homophobia, and aggression. How would you guys give out your definition of how toxic masculinity is?
The first thought that comes to mind is like a male is supposed to act in an abusive behavior, or like maybe he's supposed to remain emotionless.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Ted. Like it's this like idea that a man is not supposed to show any emotions. He's just supposed to go angry and aggressive and just don't like any type of emotion, which is
how did the norms create toxic masculinity to y'all?
I feel like with the certain set of standards that we're supposed to follow, it has led to many boys, like even at a young age, not being able to have emotions. I think we've all heard at a young age that boys are never supposed to cry or anything like that. I feel like that's not like a good trait to have. Like, why can't a male show their emotions? I feel like everyone should show their emotions because you might be going through some very, very hard times.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like gender norms definitely like telling a boy that he has to go outside and play sports and that he can't care for like his little siblings, or he cannot do things that seem feminine. It does definitely create toxic masculinity because like you're telling him that he can't show any type of emotion. Like I always hear the phrase "man up," "oh man up," "oh man up." Like what does that actually mean? Like, I mean like don't show any emotions. Like like put your feelings to the side. Like don't act like. But in general, like our feelings, our emotions are really they're really a big part of us. And so like yeah, gender norms definitely is like the number one cause of toxic masculinity in the society.
And I also think that goes into men's health and their well-being. One question I do like to ask y'all is, how does toxic masculinity affect men's health and well-being? Like, how do y'all think that has to do with their well-being? How it can affect them positively or negatively?
I would like to go. I would say like this toxic masculinity definitely causes depression. Like it makes the male feel like he can open up to like his, let's say, his girlfriend, his mother, his family members, just people around him. Like he always gotta act tough, he always gotta man up and not show any emotions. And not like when you bottling up all these emotions and not talking about how you feel, like you become really depressed and that's suicide.
And I like to add on to what you were saying. I agree on your part about that. And I like to also say that about the opening up and stuff to people, I feel like they think that it's like has to do with being feminine, but I don't think that will like make any man feminine. Talking about your emotions, that just betters yourself. I feel as though
I feel like as humans we should all like be with our emotions. Like why should a human not have emotions?
Yeah, it's like they building in this like their all the emotion,
Anger.
and when they do that, it like gives them a negative effect, because once you build in too much, you start to burst out, and you start to give out this aggression or this mean way, or like feel like you have to feel a certain type of way.
You start to treat other people that's next to you differently. Like you start to act different. Like your character changes. Like when you aggressive, when you depressed, like people around you gonna see and feel it. Nobody's gonna want to be around you anymore, because all you're bringing out is just like negative things. Also, I have a question. What do y'all think that I know that the society is the main cause of this, like, the toxic masculinity, but how easy do you think it is for, people to just forget about that and like not even follow the gender norms and just like not let society make them?
Honestly, I feel as though this generation, like how we move and how we like process stuff and how we react to it, I feel as though this generation is doing like better. If like per se, I feel like we're doing better with toxic masculinity. I feel as though our generation specifically, we tend to open up more, or we tend to have this aura that we bring. Like we all have this like, I'm not really sure like how to put it in words, but like we know how our society works already, right? So I feel as though this is like an old generation of time. Our generation is starting to subvert from that narrative, and we're starting to open up more and starting to go with more changes in how society, like we leaving that old era off and like the past, and we're starting to open up more to different ways and stuff.
I agree with you. Hold on, I'm sorry. I agree with you, but like the thing is, it's lag time with everything. Like I don't think like it's gonna be able to change right now. Even though we're touching the surface of it, of mental health well-being of males, I think it's still gonna take a very long time, because like it started way back in like 1900s, where males were supposed to like be like the dominant, and a woman's supposed to like follow what the man says. I don't think it's gonna like change that quickly, even though we're touching the surface of it. Also,
like Nazaya, I kind of want to challenge you on what you said. You said that you think it's changing now, but I feel like the old era, those are our grandfathers and our fathers and our uncles, and those are the people that's raising us, like, raising them, like the males and stuff. So don't you think that, like while they are free to have their own ideas and formulate their own opinions and stuff, like, don't you think like because they were exposed to such toxic masculinity from the society, don't you think that in a way has a big influence on the way that's like the males are acting right now? Like, I feel like this is just going to be an ongoing process and stuff, and it's just never really going to stop, because our
Yeah, I do agree with that it does like affect them, like the way that like their parents or like how older people are teaching them. But I also feel as though social media has this effect on like our generation of men nowadays, because society, it has this like not powerful effect, but it still has an effect on how people are thinking nowadays. And I feel as though more of our generation, they're more open to like they're more open to how the LGBTQ community is, and how it affects people, and they're more open to like these different definitions of like, you know, how people are like now starting to like like how gay people or like binary people, how they're all starting to open up more to society because they feel as though they have this like comfort that society is giving them. And I feel as though more people are starting to realize this, and they're more open to how social media is like it's like affecting them in a way. So social media, it's like giving off to like men in our generation. It's like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to like really say it, but like it's like giving off this effect on people in our generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Tia, would you like to say something before I have another question?
No, you go ahead.